One Piece. What initially drew you to the project?
Well, I was friends, and I had worked with Matt Owens from one of the showrunners from. We worked together on Marvel's Agents of Shield, and when I was on that show from the pilot to the finale, and it was 7 years of just absolute joy and fun, and I looked forward to going to work every day. And you mean you're working with superheroes? It can't get much better than that. So when it ended, we were all sad. Oh, we don't want this party to go to the end. And then I heard he was developing this show called One Piece. And I was a comic book kid growing up. Somehow I missed One Piece. I was more Batman, Superman, Spawn, the traditional ones. And I heard about this show called One Piece. I heard he was developing it, so I reached out to him, and he said, "Yeah, I would love to get you on that show. Stay in touch. I'm still developing it. We'll speak more." So I eventually started reading some of the manga. I watched some of the anime, and I went, "Oh, this is not what my normal comic book." It was interesting that it captivated me. I was very interested to see, well, what happens in the next episode. He eventually approached me. We spoke. I had some meetings with the producers, but I was a little cautious because mangas and animes haven't always translated well to live adaptations. So, well, let me hear what they have to say. I really do want to work with Matt, but let me just hear what they're thinking here. And when I heard what they were planning to do, when I saw that there was a deep appreciation and understanding of the source material, I was like, this has potential. This has some serious potential. They really have a great idea here. On season 1, I was involved in all that on the series, and you really don't know. You think it's going to be good. You're proud of what you're doing, but you're not positive. And then we did have a premiere. It was received we had a premiere on the Santa Monica Pier, and it was really well received. And you're going, okay, I think this could be massive. And it was. Season 1 was massive. And we sort of went in with that same mentality on season 2. We have a success behind us. We finally cracked that live adaptation translation, but we want to make sure we don't break it now on season 2. So we sort of went back to the drawing board to make sure we were doing the same steps that we did on season 1, which I believe season 2 crashed Netflix when it came out. So I think we did all right.
Yeah, but the interesting thing about this is it really didn't have any previous things you could go to. You had to create your own rules.
We did.
In the universe. So what was the process of kind of making sure that the story character stuff doesn't get drowned out sometimes by the crazy stuff?
Well, believe it or not, a show like One Piece, where you have people that can do some pretty fantastical things. You have a guy who's made out of rubber and can stretch. You have a lady who can have arms that kind of come out of all different aspects of a room, and she can do whatever she wants with her hands. Or we have a boat that's going up Reverse Mountain at a 90-degree angle, and it's all against blue screen, and our characters are reacting. What we always tried to do was to make sure that these fantastical elements were grounded in reality as much as possible. So there is a science behind what the capabilities of what Luffy can do. He can't stretch endlessly. There's a finite moment there. Luffy's saving the boat on Reverse Mountain, and he's trying to direct it out of the way of a rock. Well, there's a science there in terms of he's really a pulley, and we had to understand. So when we were doing shot selection and picking shots, we were always consciously thinking about things like that to make sure it's not so out of the world of reality, because you run the risk of not connecting with your audience when you do stuff like that.
And my last question: we have a lot of students watching. Was there any one scene that was most challenging? Something that really stood out that you're really proud that you pulled off, but took us a while to get right? Or sequence?
Well, there's 2 sequences. I did talk about it in my panel, which was Reverse Mountain. Reverse Mountain was when I got those dailies, and I knew what the fans were expecting. We all did when it comes to Reverse Mountain. They've been waiting for it since season 1. When I got those dailies, it was our crew on a boat, 90 degrees. They were having a hard time holding on when they shot that scene. And then it was all against blue screen. It was shot literally in a parking lot against blue screen. And the boat's on a gimbal and it's moving, but I had some basic storyboards. I had some early versions of Previs. What I was given access to was the Previs editor, and I was able to say, hey, I'm thinking about a shot like this. And I would give him examples from like Interstellar. I say, hey, remember that when the ship was against Jupiter and Jupiter was massive and the ship is this big? I'm sort of looking like something like that. And then I'd get a shot from looking down of the Mary going through the cavern, and the Mary's really small and it's being surrounded. So that was really fun to sort of figure out, help with shot design, and then implement it in an editing sense. And music and sound were also a huge aspect of that, and we had very early collaboration. And the other sequence that I'm very proud of is in episode 5, when the Straw Hats are trying to free, when the Straw Hats are fighting Mr. 3 and Miss Wednesday or Miss one of the two Baroque works. I always forget their names. And they're freeing them up, and those sequences were they were shot and scripted in a very linear way, and we have a fight over here, we have a fight over there, we have a guy on top of the wax sculpture, and it's like, it starts to get a little, shot beat, and it becomes a little stagnant. And what we decided to do was intercut it and just get these, which basically ramps up the pace, and you're able to like shape the momentum and shift it to reaching an apex. So when they ultimately succeed, okay, we can breathe, and we can linger now in some of these moments after all this fun excitement that we just had. And that was all. Both those sequences were all crafted in the cutting room.